what the name of your books are, but they've got to grease the wheels.
If you go, the best way to do that,
go ahead.
the best way to do that is simply go to freeamerican.com, click on any of my books, that'll take you to the page, or click on, just do shop.freeamerican.com. The books are all listed there. They're up on Amazon. They're up. These videos go up on YouTube. You can get the books. You can read them tonight. You can read them in an hour for a $10 donation. You know, you can get the hard copy for more. You can get that signed. You can keep it. I mean, the books we got out there represent over 10 years of work that I've put into it. The fiction is probably more believable than my non-fiction. But Mystery Babylon has the whole history of the attempts on my life, the attempts on the attacks on my businesses, and why I can't afford to do what I need to do. You know, because these Zionists have taken away everything. I've had companies sold, magazines sold for $1 million, value of $1 million on one of my companies, and in 3 days, every stockholder had been contacted and told what a leftist, what a right-wing radical, what a racist, what an anti-Semite. And anytime they say anti-Semite, you know this pressure is coming from the ADL. They contacted every stockholder in the company to queer the deal. They've done that to me in half a dozen situations, and shot people that were trying to support me, that wanted to work with me to get the Free American back out. Shot them and ended up putting them in prison. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Clinton, I basically listened to you basically off air through another connection, and we're coming through all really garbled. Looks like you need to shut down the whole network, shut down your computer, and reboot it. Because it's coming through really, really bad. People can barely hear what you're saying, what I'm saying. I've gone ahead and checked it out. So just shut down the whole thing and then reboot it, and let's see what kind of audio quality.
I'll try to do that. Hold it. Just you guys stay tuned. I'll bring it up on another computer. We'll try that. Stu.
Yeah,
Stu, what do you think? Let me look in the chat room.
I know I'll be cut off when we come back, okay?
Yeah, Stu, come back. Please come back. I heard you. But they've garbled us pretty bad. I mean, this audio coming through.
Which studio are you on, A or B this morning?
A.
Okay, I'll call him by phone. That may help things out, okay?
Wait a minute, Stu.
Stu, I'm going to have you on my show, too. Also, you too, Clayton. Bring you on my show. But shut it down because we're so garbled right now, nobody can understand us. Okay, go ahead.
It's kicked me off of my page here, and I'm looking at Skype here, but it looks like everything's working. Yeah, but thanks for that information here, hijacker. Goodbye. Okay, without him on, I don't know how it's doing. I'm recording on this one. The sound works good on this one, Stu. So I don't. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Other people have mentioned here in a private message that apparently are listening to the show that know me. They've mentioned that it's tough. So let me get off of Skype, and I'll do a call-in, and that may cure the problem.
I would call, if I were you, I would call in to 646 915-8774. 8774. I can take that on either computer. I can get that on this computer, and that's the call-in for Blog Talk. Let's try that.
5, 8, 7. That's 646-915-8774.
Yes, sir.
I'm there now with you.
Let's try that.
The 3816 area code.
Okay.
Says I'm in the host queue.
Okay, I see that now, so hang on, let me drop you on this one.
Okay.
Alright, got Stu dropped on that one. Now we're going over here and bring him up on... Here, Stu, do I have you?
You do have me.
All right.
I hope that if the sound's better, maybe we can get feedback from one that is a listener here that's also hooked up to me on Skype.
All right.
That's out there. Maybe they can give me a feedback whether we're having good sound or not.
We'll try that, and it's also being recorded on a separate computer, separate modems and all this for YouTube. So the sound is coming in on that too. So.
Okay, let's go back to we've been targets. You've been target for a long time, Clayton. So have I. And it's you open your mouth and that's it. And you know they've tried to murder me so many times. It's only God that's kept me alive, and I'm still around. But you know they do everything to keep you from having money. And all during this 2000 time frame, you know I've been going out here remodeling houses for a few investors that I'm aware of. And now they got me busted with a broken neck, the vertebra that broke 6 vertebrae off of the back of my neck, and 5 are reattached. But the bottom one, in the bottom of the neck, hasn't. It controls the muscles and shoulders and so forth. And you know, when I married this witch, I couldn't get construction loans anymore. I was subbing, building new houses, and then I found myself just doing remodel work and room additions and all that. And then, of course, with this economy and everything else, I have to do the stuff myself. I can't physically go do it. I throw a hammer, and it's just like I had to move a month and a half ago, right at 2 months ago, month and a half ago, and you know, it twisted the whole upper part of my back. I'm back at the chiropractor 3 days a week instead of getting ready to be cut down to 1 time a week, and you know, I'm busted up, and I haven't been paid by any insurance company, and they're all their faults. And I've been there, so we know how they do you. They try to murder you. They try to cripple you. You've had that happen with your motorcycle wreck without getting all into it. But we're all fighting against the same thing. It's a big evil. And the human race down here doesn't understand it because most people don't understand God exists. There's very few that really do. And those Christians out here, I've got a story up on my site that says Christians duped by political Zionism because they believe this Judeo-Christian crap that Pat Robertson and John Hagee and all these other pulpitoons push, because Israel, little fake Jews over there, the fake ones, the Zionists, that's in the Bible in Revelations that they claim to be Jews or are not, those are the evil ones, the devil worshippers and everything else. Those are the ones that pay them to push this propaganda, give them their airplanes, give them $1 million a year to push it out, their little stuff. It's been reported on Veterans Today in the past 6 months. If you notice, and I'm going to say this, Veterans Today, in the past 6 months, last week, as of last week, for the past 8 months, they have been pumping out nothing but solid truth. I don't post every story that's up there on my website. I post those stories of those that I know to be true, repost them on my site, because they're hammering the truth out about every aspect of a lot of things. Now, you've only got about 6 or 7 of the columnists and editors up there. I have those people listed on the front of my website, on the right column of my website, who are pumping out the truth. You can click on their face or their picture on the site and take you directly to their links on Veterans Today. They've been given approval. The Veterans Today is a governmental website, and Gordon Duffel said that he runs a Damas Corp. He is military intelligence. He runs Veterans Today and the 65 veteran publications. A lot of people that write for them are military intelligence. I'm not. They wanted me to start putting up everything because they want the American people to know. As of last week, Veterans Today became the number one worldwide alternative press in the world. Number one. More people come to Veterans Today now in the past as a result of a lot of people campaigning and pushing this. They have become the alternative, number one alternative news media site, but yet they're mainstream media. And they have more hits than ABC News, CBS News, CNN News, and others daily.
Well, Steve, let me ask you real quick. Let me jump in here. We got good audio. It's streaming live on Revolution Radio. We got good stuff. I just jumped in here to basically help out Clayton Douglas to sell his books, to support him. It's important to support him. I mean, we lose one talk show host after another every week. We lose other alternative internet radio stations like Oracle. I think they went down, one right after another. But anyway, Stu, is there a coup breeding in the land among the American military, and they're getting ready to oust President Obama? I mean, I'm hearing things all over the place that there's getting ready to be a coup, that this black president cannot take this basically white American heavily armed nation to martial law, and that the American military are getting ready to take things over. So, what's your story on that before I get back to Clay and helping him survive? But go ahead, Stu.
Let me answer that, and think about what I say. I'm going to step to the line, and that's about it. First of all, Barack Obama right now is under protective custody by U.S. military inside the White House. He's told not to leave. That's the reason he's not meeting with Russian Putin, has been announced. The Israeli Zionist pigs, these three, Leonard Mellman, Larry Mizell, and George Herbert Walker Bush, I call him Daddy Bush, these three that control Bibi Netanyahu and want to start this World War III over there with Iran and Syria to take over their natural resources and their oil, and because they want everything, they are the ones that are pushing for a coup against Barack Obama. Now, here's what it amounts to. They've tried this in the past. I'm aware, and if you looked at Chuck Hagel, who when he was Senator Chuck Hagel, he says, I am not an Israeli senator. AIPAC doesn't control me. Well, who's on the board of directors of AIPAC? Leonard Mellman, Larry Mizell, Norman Brownstein, and the others that are in my story called Frauds Are Us on the front of my website. Okay? And read it. They are on the board of directors of AIPAC, ADL, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, B'nai B'rith, and all of the espionage organizations being run here in the United States of America who have hijacked this country. Now, when I think Saturday Night Live, if you go to the top of my website, StuWebb.com, and you click on the one that says radio shows or videos, YouTube videos, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom of either page, you will see the link to Saturday Night Live, the confirmation hearings on Chuck Hagel, and how they made fun of the fact of what was going on. Well, that never played on Saturday Night Live, so someone, a producer, gave it exclusively to Gordon Duff, who put it on his YouTube channel. It's hilarious. I say everybody should say it. I mean, watch it, because it says in there, John McCain says, "Oh, Mr. Hagel, I'm going to ask you for the national security of Israel. Will you give a blowjob to a donkey?" He says, "What?" And this was the script. Well, I can't confirm you if you won't do that. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I saw that.
They are in control of 9 out of 10 of the congressmen and senators in the United States.
What he's talking about, wait a minute, Stu. What Stu's talking about is a Saturday night script.
Saturday Night Live script about the so-called Hagel Senate hearings. And
Hagel confirmation.
It was pretty funny, but they were pulled off.
They were pulled off, and it's great video. Everybody should see it. You can understand who Lindsey Graham is. You can understand who John McCain is. You can understand who Lieberman is, Boxer, Feinsilver, and others. Here's the bottom line. Chuck Hagel is a good, honest, patriotic American. He saw it when he was in the Senate. They made him as a result of people inside the military. One was General Dempsey, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, who was very patriotic, who has kept this country together for the past
3 to 4 years, mainly since he became the head, along with an admiral that I won't mention, and another admiral that was, I forgot his name, that was the one that was reaffirmed. And what did they do? Armed Services, Senate Armed Services, here's Lindsey Graham again. Here's John McCain, the 2 Israeli senators, stooges, sellouts. Here they are up there that are saying, they don't want to reaffirm General Dempsey and others, patriots that have kept this country together underneath this administration, kept from a coup d'etat happening. They're the ones that got Hagel in. And what has happened since Hagel has gotten in is this. 27 people were relieved of duty at a nuclear at Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, where they have nukes on airplanes that could be dropped any place in the world at any time. 27 people were relieved of duty who were answering directly to Daddy Bush instead of answering to the Joint Chiefs of Staff and answering to the Secretary of Defense. HARP has been shut down as a result of my request, told them where it was at, underneath Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs, the command center. It was underneath the Denver Airport, a secret underground facility, the one to the south that I exposed, but the construction contractor that's on my YouTube channel exposed the concentration camp part of it. There was going to be the transfer station in that video. But on the south end, there were 12 more buildings. That's tied to U.S. Space Command, etc. They moved it down to Colorado Springs. After I pumped it up, and I'm going to take credit now, and they don't like me over it, I know it, but I asked for HARP to be shut down. They shut down the weather modification where you don't see the jet stream coming off of Alaska anymore, and it's not running straight south to Gulf of Mexico, running 500 miles across the U.S., and then going straight back north to the Canadian border, and moving slowly across the U.S., and we're having F4 and 5 tornadoes. That was shut down 2 months ago. And a week and a half after I gave them the information where this was being run from, a friend of mine was nearly killed over it, who I had talked to, and they knew it. And then he was beat up with a satellite, by the way, a hole poked in through his foot, his arm burned, it's in a sling today, a super spook. 4 of his ribs were broken, and his nose is all broken with a frigate satellite.
All right, now hold on just a second.
And he didn't even know exactly. Let me go further.
Go ahead.
So HARP, we don't have the problem with weather modification. We have also seen 6 colonels relieved of duty at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and 1 general, who all answered to Daddy Bush, instead of answering to the President of the United States and answering through the chain of command. We've also seen all kinds of other things, including Janet Napolitano making her announcement of resignation. We have seen Hillary Clinton resign because of the Benghazi Gate, supporting Mitt Romney against Barack Obama, and the October surprise stooge game that they pulled on Barack Obama. Barack Obama, since he's been president, has nobody in any of the agencies that he appointed at the request of Hillary Clinton and Daddy Bush and others. He didn't know how stooged he was, how bad it really was. I think the guy, when he went in there, besides being a stooge and blackmailed, and they used that to get these people in there, I think in some degree, I look back, he wasn't a satanic New World Order pig. He was just being used by them. But now he's starting to listen because he's being drugged around by his ear by Chuck Hagel and General Dempsey and other good people in the military, and he's being told what to do. And there was a tribunal, by the way, military tribunal under Office of Naval Intelligence, under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. They have control over the President and Vice President of the United States, and they can put him in prison immediately. Barack Obama was indicted underneath that tribunal a few months ago for treason and sedition and espionage against the United States. And he was told, you're not going to serve out your term. When we tell you to leave, you're going to leave. Your legacy will be that you followed the Constitution. Now, if you go to my website and you punch in on my website, in the search engine, search bar, it says, punch in Al Gore, the name. Go where it says U.S. Dictatorship and Free Fall by Gordon Duff. It says it all right there. About the tribunal, was Sandra Day O'Connor, former Supreme Court Justice, saying that during the 2000 election that everybody was threatened, intimidated, or they were going to kill their families if they didn't put George W. Bush in office, which the Supreme Court can't do. Now, if you punch in in that search box on the front of my site. You punch in Barack Obama. Then it'll pop up 4 or 5 stories. In one of them, it says Barack Obama's speech on such and such a date. Barack Obama's speech. And listen, speech. What did he say? He says, if I serve out my term, he says, now let me finish for a minute. He says, if I serve out my term, then he says in the same speech, he says, we have taken the control box of drones, will not fly over the American people, and we have taken the control box from Daddy Bush's dirty, he didn't say those words, but Daddy Bush's dirty criminals in action, CIA, that are killing everybody worldwide. We're putting them in the hands of the military. So what has happened is, good guys inside our United States military are cleaning the problem up. Now we have a new FBI director, and the biggest bust in U.S. history of trafficking in children, they immediately pop. Now, we got, I call her B-I-T, blank, blank, Bachmann. Michelle Bachmann. They set a file down on her desk a while back, that espionage agent against America, acting in behalf of these Zionist pigs, who's on the Intelligence Committee. They set a file down and said, you're not going to run again. You're going to make an announcement today that you're gone. You're not going to run again. Or we're going to put you in Leavenworth. So she made an announcement. What her announcement? She said, oh, Jesus told me. Oh, Jesus told me. And here she's Jesus told me I got to resign, that I'm not making enough money, and that maybe Fox News, the Israeli Zionist network, maybe I'll have a show up there with Sean Hannity,
Hold on, Stu. Hold on just a minute.
Let me just jump in here for just a minute.
Go ahead, hijacker.
Because I jumped in here because you are giving out really classic information, and the only reason you are is because Clayton Douglas is doing his show, and I really jumped in here because I want people to support Clay Douglas. He's the only guy that gets people like you, Stu, on board to be able to bleed out this kind of information. And so he's got books, he's got things that, you know, you can support Clayton Douglas, and you've got to do that. Or Clayton Douglas is going to be bye-bye, another guy gone.
All right.
And that means
Clayton's in a financial bind, folks. You need to kick him some money. I'm in a financial bind. You know, I call him, and I'm glad you brought that up. I call him the patriot tards that listen to the disinformation stooge, such as Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones, everybody's figured out he's a stooge and has been a DEPCA, which is Israeli disinformation, Zionist boys, and he gets information from DHS.
Yeah, let's help out.
The Patriot Tards give him $1 million a year. He makes $8 million off the government and off of Israeli Zionists paying him his salary to keep his radio station alive. If those that are baby patriots that listen to him, they hear 50% truth and 50% disinformation, that $1 million a year they give to him, if they would give it to Clayton Douglas, Stu Webb, and if they would give it to other people that are out here, such as yourself, putting on real guests and real truth, this patriot problem would have ended years ago.
It would have been. And let me add something else here. I mean, this is documented in my book. They did try to kill me. They did try to kill people around me. They did kill Bill Cooper after 2 weeks after we talked together. And here's the kind of response we're getting when we talk about the attempts on our life, and the fact that there's some company out there, there's somebody out there that's got the ability to call 200 stockholders in a public, find and contact 200 stockholders in a publicly traded company to queer a deal that I already had the contract signed. And but while we're talking about that, one of our higher ups had this to say: can't say that I put much effort into being afraid of a government with millions of people in their employ, every technological and practical weapon and biological system at their disposal, the ability to cover up anything they want, all the money in the world, who can't seem to kill one guy living in his mom's basement. Now, this is the kind of response that I get in this chat room. Really urges me not to come back into the chat room to try to deal with this kind of ignorance. They did try to kill me. They did try to kill Stu. You want to talk about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage people to help support you. I mean, you are important. You bring Stu Webb on our line. Actually, I want you both on my programs. I'll try to get a hold of you. I've got a really big audience in the middle of the night. Believe it or not, it's phenomenal. And so I want to bring both of you on. But really, why I called in is that you're hurting. This is like the third or fourth day, Clinton, in which you've had trouble with basically getting support, and this is where you get your support. And people need to go to all your websites and your different things to buy your book to help support you. If they don't, you're going to die off. Jack Blood. I mean, Jack Blood was a gunslinger. I mean, Jack Blood can pick apart almost any argument, and he didn't have the support. He's gone. He's dead. Oracle Broadcasting, a whole network, got wiped out. And we just got to stop this type of devastation, and where, basically people got to support you. They got to buy your book. They got to give you money.
Oh, why would we buy the book of a hater? He's a hater. Why would we support him? Why would we buy his book? I just got that in the chat room last week.
Okay, back up, guys, for a minute. And look, what you're getting in your chat room are the organized crime stooges. Many of them have been put on FBI Division Number 5 payroll, and I'll tell you how they do it. They take a case over here, and it's run out of Denver, Colorado by a Mark Holslaw. That's who's running this Division 5 stooge game. All the stooges that are out there. And what they do is they put them in as an informant on a drug case over here, or case, and they make them John Doe number 10, and they got to have $2,500 in cash per month to keep them in hiding, because otherwise their lives are in danger. So they give them $1,000 or $1,800 a month to play stooge on chat rooms all day long. We know that there's around 200,000 of those. The Israeli Depka fake news organization, Disinformation, hired and even advertised worldwide on websites here a few months ago that they were hiring. Now, they got a couple 100,000 of these little Zionist stooges out there doing the same thing. So what you need to do is those that are real true patriots and understand, ignore what's in those chat rooms, because that's how they're affecting. If people would only do this, I have a game plan. One is called DoRecallPetitions.com, recallpetitions.com, which I put up, boilerplate, how to recall all the Congress and Senate right now. And if people would support, instead of throwing money at stooges that are all this disinformation out here, would truly support those that are true whistleblowers and true talk show hosts that are putting out the truth, such as Clayton Douglas, and I say myself, and others, if they would support them, just $5 a month apiece, we would have enough money to continue to do things. I could do things today that would cause national scandals that I don't have the money to do. And people inside Veterans Day are aware of that. I can't get funding by the government.
With a little bit of funding.
When you become a whistleblower, you're targeted by the enemy who you're exposing. Now, I'm lucky to be alive. We've all been through that. But support is very important. And 2/3 of the stuff flying around on Facebook and Twitter is half disinformation garbage. Garbage. And people need to understand that. They have taken over these so-called alternative media. They have put those stooges up there. The Glenn Becks, the Bill O'Reillys, the Alex Joneses, all these other stooges that are out there putting out half-truth, which is mainstream media, and then they put out the garbage. And Salon.com, I'm picking on Jones because he's that guy. If I saw him on the street, I'd have temporary insanity and put him in the hospital for 6 months. I mean, that's the way it would be, because he's committed so much espionage against this country. Nobody knows how bad it is. Salon.com wrote a story about his earnings, that he's making $8 to $10 million a year. And that the stupid patriotards, those that are in diapers, the the patriots that are somewhat hearing the truth because they can pick him on AM, FM while you're at work or whatever, and listen to his garbage because he sounds good. Oh, he's going to be our savior. They're babies. They're afraid of the government. Oh, he's going to be our savior. He's going to save us from the boogeyman, the big bad Alex Jones. I'd like to see the big bad Alex Jones on the streets. But besides that, the patriotards, those in diapers, I'm not interested in changing diapers. I don't want to deal with those. I've had thousands of people walk up to me at meetings and say, Stu, you woke me up. Well, that's great. You were a patriotard, you were diapers, I'm glad. Well, get away from these alternative, stupid, idiot, DEPCA, DHS-paid stooges and come to the real world. I got a Ph.D. from the Bush, Clinton, Millman University Crime Syndicate. I have spooks that call me up and they say, Doctor, how are you? Because my library card expired, Daddy Bush said. You get too much knowledge about the crimes, and that's the metaphor. Your library card expired. Kill him.
All right, let's stop here. Remember, the hijacker, are you still here? No, okay, he's gone here. The matter of fact, I've got up a link on my site here, and I believe that came from you about why Alex Jones attacks Nazis, why he bashes Nazis. Anyone paying attention knows that Alex Jones has an obsession with attacking Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. He does so for one reason and one reason only. He's a disinformation specialist. He's demonizing National Socialism and will not say the name of the enemy or any reference that directly links the Jews and Zionists to the criminal network looting the nation. He uses a slew of euphemisms to hide the enemy. He calls the Zionists the New World Order globalists, their Germanic death cults, and he's famous for calling the enemy everything except what it actually is. So he is
the Zionist. He's very correct. The Zionist organized crime syndicate, Daddy Bush, the Clintons, Millman, and Mizell, and they're operating out of Denver, Colorado, period. That's their headquarters. They control APEC. They control the ADL. They control all the propaganda. They've been involved. This is something that hijacker called in on. In a 2004 intelligence agency report that came out in January, late 2003, it named my ex-in-law, Leonard Millman, commit treason, sedition against America. He faked his death and went to Cuba and hid out. His stooge, Larry Mizell, along with Daddy Bush, him, Bibi Netanyahu, were named last year in 16 intelligence agencies. The bank bailout, created the mortgages, and were the ones that attacked Oklahoma, the ones that blew up Oklahoma City, the ones that blew up the towers on 9/11, created wars unjustly, such as Iraq, Afghanistan, etc., based on lies, and that they have hijacked and overthrown America, and that APEC, the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and the list goes on of all these stooge organizations that they have been involved in treason and sedition, including stealing the Rocky Flats nuclear arsenal, 2,000 pounds of plutonium missing, and that was sold through Israel and Bibi Netanyahu to Korea and other countries now that have nuclear capabilities and have demonstrated it. And yet, the United States government and its secretaries of all these agencies answer to these people and call Daddy Bush up. They go in the White House and tell Barack Obama something, and then they turn around and call Daddy Bush up. What's the instructions today? That's organized crime. And they were named as such, and that's the reason we have people, and you'll hear we have good people in the military cleaning that problem up, slowly getting people in other agencies. Hopefully we're going to see the FBI cleaned up, and hopefully Homeland Security soon. And there is a battle going on, a civil war inside the government, and you got stooges on the radio, oh, the military, they're going to come get us, and they're going to lock us up in concentration camps. No, folks. It's Department of Homeland Security that was set up to do that. They're being neutered right now and neutralized. The concentration camps are being shut down by our good friends inside the military, Secretary Hagel.
All right, let me stop you here
So
for
no,
a second.
this isn't going to happen. No, you're not going to fly drones over the American people and shoot them and kill them. No. So what do? They come back with, oh, Snowden's released the information. He's a whistleblower. He's an Israeli Mossad stooge. They had to have a whistleblower come out and tell everybody you're being spied on. Oh, that was just part of it. Everybody knows we've been being spied on since George W. Bush hijacked the 2000 election under stellar wind. We know all this. It was more to it. Oh, get the support of Israel. Get support of Israel. 9 out of 10 people inside the Congress and Senate says, we will voted to support Israel 3 weeks ago in a war against Iran and Iraq. Iran and Iraq are not the boogeyman. It's the state of Israel, its leaders, and the leaders of the United States of America inside the U.S. Congress that answers to these 3 punks, Daddy Bush, Leonard Millman, and Larry Mizell.
And
Now we got a problem. We could remove them. We didn't vote them in. They put them in. We can remove them with recallpetitions.com, and that's where all these groups and all these people out there posting on all the social media need to be. If someone wants to do something.
Okay, I want to do something, and I've been faced trying to restore my income, trying to restore a company, trying to restore relationships that have been totally destroyed by these people. They've sent people into me that wanted to help, bought my property, and then immediately kicked me off of it.
You need help financially, Clayton, and I know that. And I'm asking everybody to kick up some money for Clayton. He needs about a couple $1,000 right now. He's in a bad situation. I could use that myself. There's a lot of people out here with money. $5 a piece. Hit our websites. That would help right now to keep the word going. I don't have any income right now. I got a busted neck. I can't go to work. I'm half still crippled. I've been told I can't do what I used to do. Go make a couple bucks here and there and keep the noise level up.
Let me stop you here for a second, because I've been asked, well, why don't you just go out and get a job? Why don't you get a job? You don't have a job. You don't work. You just sit at that computer. I've got these shows up on Facebook. I've got these shows up on YouTube. I've got these shows up on Blog Talk Radio. I've got these shows up on Revolution Radio. I've got Revolution Radio at the top of my website. I am trying to promote this show. I'm trying to promote Revolution Radio, and I can't do it alone. And we shouldn't do it alone. If we don't work together, folks, they'll all just hang us alone. Bill Cooper lived up on a mountaintop. Didn't want any neighbors around him. Didn't want to be bothered, so they could walk right in and kill him. The answer I came up with that is the liberty.
I talked to him, so did you. You know him. Now here's the problem.
Yes, sir.
We are at a breaking point, a very serious breaking point in the time of U.S. history. And we actually have got people in fighting the crime syndicate inside the government for the first time. People, if they would help out and keep this noise level up, as an example, come to your website, come to my website, pass the links to these radio programs, pass the links to the stories that are on my site, pass the links that are on Veterans Today. Take those links. Get away from the patriotards information, from mainstream media that's disinformation, and from the DEPCA DHS-controlled alternative media, which is over 70% of it out here right now is disinformation. The little shows, the little ones, I have listed on my website, or I call them those that are truth tellers that are on Veterans Today. Anybody telling the truth up there, you can find their link, go in and click on their stories. Look at what's going on, and look at the invasion. The military knows we're going to be invaded by the aliens soon. They know that we have a problem with China because they've made that alien connection, okay, an agreement. They know that. Go in and click on the right column where it says Dr. Preston James. Click on Gordon Duff and look at the stories he's talked about China and the aliens. And he is military intelligence. and everybody knows it. He keeps you safe at night, folks, while you're asleep, and in the daytime while you're at work. You need to look at what good people inside the government who have been given the okay to unleash the truth to the American people. I had those people's faces up there on the right column, including Sybil Edmonds, Preston James, Dr. Kevin Barrett. The list goes on. They're the ones telling the truth. The others, I don't agree with some of the information and bogus stuff at times, but it's not a controlled media site.
Well, now with Alex Jones, let me say this: if I was Alex Jones and I'm making $1 million a year, and my wife is Jewish, and my children are dual citizens of Israel, and they're certainly benefiting from that kind of protection. This ain't a matter of hating the Jews. I almost admire them, Stu. I mean, at least they work together.
I've got more Jewish friends that are true to the bloodline of Israel in America. I have a lot of them. I've had over the years a lot of my customers. These are the true Jews. These are the ones that are called Israelites from the Bible. These aren't the fake ones. There's a difference. The fake ones are the devil worshippers. The fake ones are the ones that are fooling the Christians. They're fooling the Jewish people, the Christians, this Jewish Christian identity crap that they tried that they tried to put out. They're the ones that we're all fighting against. The aliens are the fallen angels, folks. They're the fallen angels. Pick up your Bible and take a look at what the Bible says. And ask yourself, why is it Dr. Preston James, who knows the stuff that I've known since 1990 but never talked to him because we had many of the same sources. Okay? He's a psychologist. Okay? He got his stories up there. Click on his stories about this alien invasion that's coming. He's quite aware. It was dumped on him by U.S. intelligence and military of what's getting ready to happen. They're going to pull a false alien invasion. Oh, we're here to save the world. Oh, we're going to do this. This is your Antichrist. This is the Zionist pigs running America and Israel, destroying the world. They are getting ready to pull their big one on everybody. How are you going to get rid of this alien problem? Well, I have faith. God said we have power over demons and devils and fallen angels, and then all we have to do is cast them out, and it works. And go to Glenn Kennedy's site, projectinsearch.com, and look at the videos up there of people who have been abducted by aliens and screamed, "Help Jesus!" And Jesus, help, and I cast you out and rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and they found their feet back on the planet. We're getting ready for some very serious stuff. And those that don't believe in God, you better get your eyes open and on your hands and knees and ask him if he's real. And I'm not trying to play preacher here, but that's what we're up against. We're up against those that want to kill everybody on the planet because we're human beings. They hate us.
They
satanic beings, these humans, to pull their crap.
Stu, they wrote it in stone in the Georgia Guidestones. They want to take out, they want to reduce the population of Earth to a manageable 500 million. That would be 499 million slaves and 1 million of the elite that they think will survive all of the earth changes we got coming in. By the way, doesn't the Bible say, at a time of earthquakes, we're having earthquakes all over the world?
We are in a time frame that there's a lot of biblical prophecies and end times being fulfilled. I'm also a firm believer if people get on their hands and knees and pray to God, he postpones things. And he'll put it off for those that aren't saved to understand that he's real. And I tell people, if you want to know if there's a real God, because there's so many people that are atheists today and don't believe in God, get on your hands and knees and go before him and say, God, is Stu Webb right? Are you real? Is Clayton Douglas right? Are you real? Do me a favor and answer one prayer to me, for me. This little thing, asking for something simple, not $1 million, something simple, maybe that you're trying to get lined out in your life. And then when that happens, and tell him, look, if you prove to me you're real through that, and you're really serious about it, I guarantee you he will answer your prayer 9 out of 10 times.
Hold on just a second.
And the second part is you have to make an agreement that you'll start seeking him and serving him. And you'll find things, miracles. I'm living because of him.
you know, that's my answer to the guy that wants to know why the government can't kill me, or you for that matter. And I've had them show up. I've had agents show up at my house up there in Albuquerque and say, you know, this ain't really a good place for you. You know, somebody across the street there on that ridge could shoot you right here in your living room. Aren't you worried? Aren't you afraid? And I said, no, if they tried that, they'd miss. I've gone through an accident. There is the people that came to my accident, the emergency workers, said there's no way somebody could live with the injuries that I had. I lived, and not only did I live, I walked away from a T-boned accident on a Harley Davidson without a broken leg, with only 3 broken ribs. We made a difference. God made a difference, and I believe that.
Psalms 92 in the Bible says, if you ask for angels of protection, 92 and 93, it says he'd give them to you. And I'm convinced that that is real. I've seen it. I could tell stories and stories and stories how my car flew in the air for a block and a half and it came down like a feather in the middle of the freeway in Denver, where they ran me off of a ramp back onto the freeway, 2 of them, 2 stooges, and I wasn't touched. I screamed, help Jesus. And the whole freeway behind me at rush hour, right after dark at 6 p.m. in the wintertime, was totally stopped behind me. Like someone was standing out there, a big angel holding back the traffic. I couldn't believe it. Because all I did was just stomp on the gas thinking I was getting ready to die. And I came down like a feather. I could tell stories about things nobody can believe. The day they rolled me on the freeway and crashed me 3 times on my head on the concrete barrier, I screamed Jesus as I saw the concrete coming up through my windshield at 60 miles an hour. I'm still breathing. I got a broken neck, but I'm still breathing. And I had a gut feeling to pull off the side of the road just before it happened, and I didn't follow my gut feeling because I was in a hurry to get over to the job because I'd spent all morning on the internet posting my stories and other things that are truth. You know, recently, another whistleblower, Ed Schooling, who's on my site on the right, and he's a born-again Christian, ex-LAPD detective trying to bust Ted Gunderson and the FBI for guns and drugs when Ted Gunderson was at the FBI in 1979. And they nearly killed him, then tried to recruit him, and then fired him after nearly killing him again. And then he settled with the LAPD for about $350,000 and moved up north into Montana or someplace for a number of years. And he got remarried to a girl that was an alternative doctor, then later divorced, and now he lives in Russia. He had to leave the country. He has his website. He says we're ready for an invasion. Everybody knows we're coming down and narrowing down to really wicked times. If you think that by standing around, sitting around, listening to this, and not supporting those that are really trying to do something, you're going to face something that you're not going to like. And all these alternatives that are over, these alternative talk show hosts and all these alternative media people that go run around and say, well, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God. There's good aliens and there's bad aliens. Well, I guarantee you, they're idiots because they don't know what they're up against. They'll sit at a pyramid on December the 22nd last year waiting for beams to come up out of the pyramid so they can welcome in the aliens. Well, go ahead and welcome them in. Join sides with them. Because it's narrowing down now. Either you have a faith in God, and you better exercise that faith, and you better start fighting against the enemy, and you better start really forking up and helping those that are telling the truth. To try to wake up as many as we can and fight them spiritually. What you send upstairs comes down here in reality on the planet.
That's right.
Why aren't people praying for God to remove George Herbert Walker Bush, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, Leonard Mellman, Larry Mizell? God, get them off of my planet. They're killing everybody. They killed millions of people.
Let me share this with you, Stu. Somebody on the chat room goes, ask God for stuff? Then why not ask God to have folks send you lots of donations and buy your books? Or have you already tried that? I said, yeah.
There's
I tried.
There's one of your DEPCA, DHS, organized crime, family page. Just ignore it.
I tried.
It's always in these chat rooms.
I said,
they want to get in and infiltrate. We have to learn how to separate them out. People that talk like that aren't part of the crime syndicate.
I said every day. I do that every day. I pray every day to give me another week, another month, another day to fight this battle. You know, I've died a couple of times and been kicked out because they said there's still work to do. Now,
there's people that are going to help you today that are people of God that understand things. I guarantee you, there will be people that will react to this broadcast in the next few days and help you, Clayton. Now, you remember before you came to Revolution Radio one other time, and what happened? You ended up there. We don't even need to talk about it and how it transpired, but God worked a number in your life, and He'll do it again. And you got to stay out there and keep preaching and telling people what we're up against. It's the human race against this evil force, and our planet is going to be destroyed. And if this book of Revelations is fulfilled, I'm waiting for one thing to show its signs that we were in that last 3.5 years. When a star smacks this friggin' planet that says in Revelations, you're going to know you're in it. You're going to see this alien stuff. You're going to see a world war that's going to kill off a third of mankind, and you're going to see a star that's going to kill off a third of mankind. And then what's left, quite frankly, I don't want to even be on the planet. It's going to be that nasty. And everybody's getting ready to face it because they won't come to reality and open up their eyes that we got a crime syndicate. They're a bunch of devil worshippers running the United States of America, and they're running the state of Israel, and they got everybody all fooled, all the Christians and all Jews that are Jews, to think we have a phobia. We have this terrorist. It's called Muslims. Well, I'm glad they're marching on Washington saying we didn't do 911, George Bush did, and the Israelis did. A 1 million man march on 911. We ought to be up there, excuse me, in Washington, those around there, and they're supporting these people with signs saying it wasn't. It was Israel and it was Daddy Bush, Bibi Netanyahu.
It's one of the reasons that I'm reaching out to Press TV, because I don't want a war with Iran any more than I wanted a war in Vietnam or a war in Afghanistan.
Iran's willing to buy 10,000 pickup trucks a month from the United States of America. They're willing to buy Chevrolets, Fords, Dodges, Toyotas, whatever we manufacture over here. 10,000 pickups a month with the guarantee they will purchase them every month. 10,000 for 10 years. Do you think what would happen to the factories? They would open up. They would hire tons of people. It would drop unemployment by 2 to 3%. They're willing to sell us oil at $20 a barrel below OPEC Daddy Bush's Aramco.
We're out of time.
Per barrel.
We're out of time, and I am praying for your support.
$2 a gallon immediately.
God bless you. Thank you, Stu Webb.
Thank you.